What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. We got some major news already here today in a reversal of the Supreme Court, of the Supreme Court's decision. We got so much just happening here on a daily basis that I keep you up to date here with on a daily basis. Make sure to like this video, and if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below and the bell icon. I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. So just yesterday, we had Republican Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett rule that it was legal for the student loan forgiveness to go through executive order, but there is multiple different lawsuits. So Amy Coney Barrett, a Republican appointed by former President Donald Trump, denied the attempt to block student loan forgiveness for over 40 million Americans. So this is an absolute massive lifeline for the 43-ish million of Americans that is going to help with $10,000 to $20,000 of student loan forgiveness. Remember, this is for Republicans, for Democrats, for independents, and there's Republicans across the country trying to challenge this, even though this is going to help Republicans, Democrats, everybody, and it's not going to raise any taxes at all. But since the Supreme Court has said it's legal and the Supreme Court denied to even hear the case, now, late last night, a federal court, a lower court than the Supreme Court, temporarily blocks Biden's student loan forgiveness program. So a lower court than the Supreme Court made this ruling, temporarily blocking the student loan forgiveness for over 40 million Americans. I guess as they rejoice that 40 plus million Americans aren't going to receive financial help. And remember that there's no taxes being raised on anybody for this. So just remember that. Yeah, a federal appeals court, so a lower court than the Supreme Court, has temporarily blocked President Biden's student loan forgiveness program from continuing following an appeal from 6 Republican-led states. This is after this was already turned down, okay? So yesterday or the day before, there was two rulings in the president's favor, okay? You can see here, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 8th Circuit ruled Friday that the policy to cancel thousands of dollars in student loan debt should be put on hold or paused while the challenges play out. The Biden administration must respond to the case before the appeals court by Monday evening. Biden's plan would cancel up to $10,000 in federal student loan debt for borrowers earning less than $125,000 per year, and those who receive Pell Grants, which is the lowest income students, if they also had student loan debt, could receive up to $20,000 in relief. This ruling comes after a federal district judge also dismissed the state's lawsuits on Thursday, ruling that they did not have standing to sue. Okay, so we had 2 rulings actually on the same day. The Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett dismissed the one case and said the Supreme Court isn't even going to rule on it, that it has legal standing. And then we had the federal court on another Supreme Court, or on another lawsuit, also ruled that the 6 Republican states also, that the lawsuit didn't have merit as well. Now the Republican states are appealing it, basically doing anything they can to block 40 plus million Americans from getting just a financial lifeline. And again, there's no detriment, there's no taxes being raised here on Americans. So it's like the Bible teaches, be thankful for your neighbor, be thankful for your fellow man, fellow woman when they receive help. There's the kind of teachings that go on. There's no taxes being raised on anybody else for this to happen. In fact, I just seen this article here. This was just published here yesterday. US budget deficit cut in half for biggest decrease ever amid COVID spending declines. Now, the government still runs a deficit, okay, but they actually decreased the deficit because the government's bringing in more money now than normal because unemployment is low. They had a $300 billion deficit reduction in the Inflation Reduction Act. Some of that kicked in as well. And this was actually from the Treasury Department. So the Treasury Department reported this. Now, we still run a deficit, but honestly, if you really think about this, I mean, that's just kind of the way the country is. And back in 1990, the country had a $3 trillion deficit. Now we have a $31 trillion deficit. Former President Donald Trump added about $8 trillion to the deficit in about 4 years. It's really just kind of the reality of our country. We just run a deficit. It is what it is. If anything, so remember that just a few months ago, they added a $250 billion to the deficit with the CHIPS Act, money that is really going to large corporations. Everybody was okay with that. Money going to like Intel and Nvidia, corporations that are largely already billion dollar corporations. They just basically almost wrote a blank check to them, giving them tens of billions of dollars. Not many people were upset about that. I remember Senator Bernie Sanders was one of them saying, do we really need to be giving billions and billions of dollars to corporations that are already making tens of billions of dollars and are in extremely profitable industries like semiconductor? I mean, I remember there was a little bit of controversy over that, but nonetheless, Congress passed, Republicans and Democrats, a CHIPS bill that was worth $250 billion and went straight to the deficit, $250 billion, with no pay for it. They didn't pay for it at all. Okay. But when a similar bill like the student loan forgiveness bill, which is similar, it's about the same price. Estimates are $250 billion, $300 billion, somewhere in that range. And it's going to go to the people that don't make billions of dollars. It's literally going to be a lifeline for 40 million Americans. Okay. Could be you, it could be your brother, your sister, your aunt, your neighbor. Oh, the outrage by some people. How could we help out some people in need? People that have to pay with the student loan forgiveness or the student loan bills for teachers and nurses and people that pay on, remember, and you have to be basically low and middle income to, if you're high income, you can't even, get this. Okay. Why would we help out people in need? Especially right now with 40-year high inflation, 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck and can't even pay their bills or are in debt. Credit card interest is at the highest it has ever been in the history of the United States. Oh, the tragedy to actually help out Americans. But when it comes to helping out corporations that make billions and billions of dollars, and remember how many corporations literally pay $0 in taxes on a yearly basis? Like massive corporations like Amazon, literally like the number one or two largest corporation in the world, or in the top three, depending on the fluctuation. Amazon paid no federal taxes on $11.2 billion in 1 year. In fact, it was a couple different years. $11.2 billion in profit, paid no federal taxes. In fact, on any given year, about 10% of the largest corporations in the United States, the S&P 500, can pay $0 in federal tax. These are the largest corporations in America. It literally, I found this in 10 seconds, just Googling it, and you literally find this in 10 seconds on any given year. These are corporations that make billions of dollars. So it's okay, but this is just how the tax code is written. This is just all the tax breaks they get, tax avoidance, corporate welfare, they call it. But oh, heaven forbid, when we talk about things like student loan forgiveness, stimulus checks, rent assistance, mortgage assistance, utility assistance, SNAP money, raises for seniors, the $2,400 raise for seniors and Social Security. Oh no, when it comes to things like that, we gotta count the money. We gotta make sure that there's it's accounted for. We gotta make sure that we raise taxes to pay for it. This, that, and the other thing, right? Heaven forbid the child tax credits. Oh, we are there's got to be work requirements for that. This, that, always excuses for all of these, like, oh, that could raise inflation, but when it comes to like corporations paying zero taxes, and what'll be next? You got to think that there's millions and millions of seniors that need help in this country, and they're trying to pass the $2,400 a year raise for Social Security. And they need a few Republican votes to pass this. Will Republicans step up to the plate so that they can pass this and extend solvency for 75 years? The Social Security Administration has done the math and said that yes, it would be able to pay out additional benefits for seniors and everybody on Social Security and extend the solvency, because the way it would work is that they would basically pay people making over $250,000 to $400,000 and up would pay into the Social Security system, and they would make it so that they would pay back into the Social Security system, and all that additional money for people making millions and millions and millions of dollars, it would be enough to extend the solvency and pay an additional $2,400 a year for everybody underneath the Social Security umbrella. So, can they get a few Republican votes to pass this? I mean, you let me know your thoughts in the comments. So it's like this, government can be run one of two ways. You can help people in need, especially right now when the economy, and remember, if you've been watching my show, you know that economies all around the world are like this. I mean, the United Kingdom has 10.1% inflation. Inflation is like this pretty much all around the world. So it's not just the United States. Gas prices are actually worse in most places around the world. Food prices pretty much the same all around the world. We're actually seeing food shortages in most places around the world. We're not really seeing that yet in the U.S., but that is a possibility. But you got to think. So there's one of two ways that can happen here. The government can just not help out people. So you really got to think here. We've seen more help in these last few years than we've ever seen for the United States and for people. We've had 3 stimulus checks. We've had $40 billion of rent assistance, utility assistance, homeowners assistance of $9.9 billion. I have links for you guys down below in the description of this video if you want to watch videos on how to apply for some of that stuff. The rent assistance is mostly over, but it depends on your state. Some might still be available because that's kind of been going on for a while now. But the homeowners assistance, $9.9 billion, probably still available in each state. Utility assistance available every year, several $100s to several $1,000s, especially as we go into the winter heating system time. It's going to be very expensive this year. So the question is, does government help people, or do we just block it and say, no, we're not going to help anybody. We're not going to help seniors. We're not going to help people with student loans. We're not going to help people on SNAP. We're not going to help low income. We're not going to help people with children. We're not going to help anybody. We're not going to help low income. We're not going to help anybody. We're going to block it all. Yeah, and it's like, if you're happy that people aren't getting help here, and remember, this is a temporary blockage while they decide the um, decision on this next one. If you're happy that your neighbor's not getting help or your brother's not getting help, guess what? The next program might be for you. The next program might be a stimulus check that they might be blocking. Remember that the Democrats could have blocked Trump's executive order for unemployment stimulus checks that he sent out to millions of Americans right before the 2020 election. And the Democrats didn't. And I said they shouldn't do that. That was an executive order by Trump. They shouldn't block that because that was help for millions of Americans. And really, neither side should be blocking help for people in need. You can let me know your thoughts on this, whether it's unemployment people, people with student loan forgiveness, or people with student loans, people with SNAP, people that need help, regardless of who the people are that need help. Right now, who knows what the next program's going to be? Who knows what the next program's going to be? In fact, I just seen this article. Biden calls out Marjorie Taylor Greene and Republicans for hypocrisy on student debt loan relief. Says, who in the hell do they think they are? Here's why. Listen to what he says. Joe Biden blasted Republican opposition to his student loan debt relief, calling out several by name who had seen millions of dollars in pandemic loans forgiven. He says, I don't want to hear from them. The president said that Marjorie Taylor Greene and her husband had over $180,000 in business loans forgiven from the Paycheck Protection Program. Yeah. So Marjorie Taylor Greene says it's unfair for people to get $10,000 of student loans forgiven when, they struggle for years and years and years paying that back, teachers and nurses, etc. When she got $180,000 herself through the PPP program. Greene says it's completely unfair for us to forgive student loans for working and middle class Americans. Florida Republican lawmaker Vern Buchanan has described federal student loan as reckless. Guess how much he got from the Paycheck Protection Program, the PPP program? $2.3 million. This is not a joke. You can't make this stuff up because they have records of this. He got $2.3 million, and he's worried about low and middle income Americans getting some student loan debt relief. I mean, this is the definition of hypocrisy. The guy got $2.3 million waived by the government. Waived by the government. The president added that Republican governors had written him a letter to say that this relief only helps the elite few. The president responded saying, y'all know you're the elite few. He asked, he said to widespread laughter. Yeah. Ted Cruz said that the $10,000 in federal aid cancellation was for slackers who don't deserve relief. Biden said, who in the hell do they think they are? Biden said to a packed auditorium that 22 million people have already applied for the federal student loan relief since the online applications went live here already. So it's unclear what will happen here going forward. And also, you got to remember what the next thing might be. There's also possibility of other types of debt relief in the future, potential medical debt relief, credit card debt relief, mortgage debt relief, other types of debt relief. In fact, we just seen this week over $1 billion in debt relief for farmers this week. Like I said, these type of things happen all the time. Do we want to block the debt relief for farmers next too? $1.3 billion in debt relief for farmers who've fallen behind on loan payments or face foreclosure. This came from a loan relief program from a $3.1 billion program from the Inflation Reduction Act that was just passed here recently. So again, there's all sorts of programs like this happening What will the next program be? One just passed for farmers here this week also. So I will keep you up to date here. We'll see what the next program is going to be, and I'll keep you up to date here. The next program might be for you, might be for low income, might be for seniors. I'll keep you up to date here. So make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Click the bell icon after you subscribe, and I'll keep you up to date here. You can also click this video here. There are checks going out to over or about 33 different states that you might not even know about. And you can click here to see my newest video. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.